Jayson Tatum gets hurt, and it looks serious. The Celtics looked bad. They're down 3-1. Is there anything they can do to salvage their season? It's right now on the Locked On Celtics podcast.
Yup. Beantown, be ever ready. Recognize the city of champs. Back to back, if I say it, it's stamped. Locked on number 19, the best one, the next one. Juice loose in your pool now for the next run. It's the C's, who else could it be? What they gon' say now? Screaming like JT, Karalis, recap the madness. Every game, every practice. Best daily pod, no cap like Brad Beckett. Clutch like Jrue to KP, tap in daily. Primetime Depp and D White on the sideline. Raining Jays, how it started, raising banners, how we finished. Locked on Celtics pod, home of the winners.
Hey there, welcome back to the Locked On Celtics podcast right here on the Locked On Podcast Network, where it is your team every day. I got you covered every Monday through Friday, plus bonus podcasts when they play in the weekend, if they will ever play in the weekend again this season, this postseason. Not sure, but I'll be here if they do. So make sure you're subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. I'm John Karalis. I'm covering the Celtics for Boston Sports Journal. I've been covering the team for about 20 years. I've written a couple of books about the Celtics as well. So, I've got myself, I think a decent depth of knowledge on the Boston Celtics. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers get $200 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. A lot of people betting against the Boston Celtics because Jayson Tatum went down with what appears to be a serious injury. I'll get into that. I'll get into the game, which is it looked like the Celtics had it and were not cruising the way they were in games 1 and 2, but had a very good grasp on things, but let it slip. Kristaps Porzingis was not good. I thought Jaylen Brown was not good. And then I'll look ahead to game 5 because it's not quite done yet. I'll get to that later, but you got to start with the Jayson Tatum injury, which still don't know what it is. There's a lot of theories running around. It's a non-contact injury. If you didn't see it for some reason, he planted that right foot. It looked like he might have gotten hit up around the shoulder area, but it was basically a non-contact injury. He planted the foot, and then he went down and he went right for the back of his foot, right for the ankle area. And you can see he was kind of holding that back area that screams Achilles injury. And he wouldn't get up. He needed help to get up. He was in the wheelchair in the back. When we were allowed in the locker room area, he was in one of the back rooms at Madison Square Garden. Turns out his mom and I believe his stepdad were in there. So his family was around. Celtics medical staff was in there. He was nowhere to be seen in the locker room. Players said they didn't see him. They didn't talk to him. So just using some powers of deduction, that's not something that you normally see when it comes to an injury. If it's not serious, he might be out in the locker room icing, or it felt like he was being kind of kept away from everybody. I was waiting around to see if he would come out. Would he be on crutches? Would he be wheeled out? How would he come out? Could you get any sense of anything? Sometimes these things look bad and it's not as bad as you think, but he never reappeared that I could see. I haven't seen any video of him after the injury. So there's no kind of documentation of how he looks, what he's, his demeanor, any of that stuff. The only video that we saw was from the broadcast of him getting wheeled into the back, and he had his head in his hands. So right now it's just speculation. It could be an Achilles injury, and we're trying to figure out the severity of it. Is it a clean tear? Is it a partial tear? Is it something that can be repaired and is short term as far as, a couple of months, or is it a full-blown torn Achilles, or is it potentially some sort of something else? Is it I don't know. It could be any number of things, but we know that we've seen that play before, and it screams Achilles injury. And the only hope to me is that it's not so serious that it costs him next season. This is the trouble with these injuries that happen here now in May. This is May. It happened on May 12th. These Achilles injuries, if it takes 6 months, 8 months, well, 6 months brings us into November, December, 8 months, January, February. We might not see Jayson Tatum until the All-Star break, which who knows? Who knows? This probably worst case scenario. That's probably where I would guess. Best case scenario is it's a strain. It's something that doesn't need surgery, a summer off, and he could be back. That could be a best case scenario, but I'm saying that more in a hopeful manner as opposed to what I think the reality is. And I think the reality is a serious injury. I think no matter what, he's no longer playing, at the very least in this series. If for some reason the Celtics are able to come back and extend this series, I don't think he'll be back in this series. And even in a best case scenario, he's probably done for these playoffs. Even considering the way the injury looked, even if I'm wrong, even most of us are wrong, and it's a strain of some kind, even that puts his entire playoffs in jeopardy. So the Celtics are going to have to learn to live life pretty quickly without Jayson Tatum. So that's the most I can say. And as I'm talking, I'll give Twitter one more chance to, maybe Shams can come up with something. But I think it's telling, nothing from Shams still. I think it's telling that Shams hasn't said anything. The newsbreakers haven't said anything. And it goes to the point, like, people ask me, like, find something. It's like, well, we try. But the way news breaks nowadays, agents and people within the organization, they go to one of like two people, and it's really just one person now. And there's not a lot of local newsbreakers anymore. And so usually it's Shams at this point, and there's nothing. He doesn't have anything. My understanding is that unlike maybe some circumstances when a visiting player gets hurt like this, they may take him right away to one of the local hospitals, especially in New York City. You've got two of everything. You get two NBA teams, two hockey teams, two NFL teams, two baseball teams. There's a lot of orthopedic people around town here that know how to diagnose and all of that stuff. And from my understanding, Tatum hasn't seen any of the people around here. This is all being handled in-house by the Celtics. They're taking care of everything. This way, no information gets out. No one on the outside has any access to any information. And when Joe Mazzulla spoke and said lower body injury, MRI tomorrow, I think that's legitimately what we're going to get. We're being told nothing, and I think Tuesday is MRI day, and there will be an official stance. Now, by then, maybe Tatum's people will leak something to Shams and we'll know, but the team is circling the wagons, and right now there's nothing, no information. Think about when Damian Lillard got hurt. We knew within an hour there are fears of this being an Achilles tear. So the Celtics are keeping everything quiet. There was a game to be played, and It looked like once again the Celtics had it, and then it looked like once again that the Knicks went on a heater that could not be stopped. We'll talk about what actually happened in the game when I come back. Today's show is brought to you by Hungry Root. I know this is the busy season for a lot of people. Everybody in the house has something going on. You don't have time to go grocery shopping or cook healthy meals at home. That's why you should be using Hungry Root. It's like having your own personal shopper and nutritionist all wrapped into one. They take care of the grocery shopping, the meal planning. They offer personalized recommendations based on your taste and health goals. Hungry Root tailors your orders based on what you like or don't like, and it gets smarter every time. With their high-quality, nutritious food, you can stick to your gut-friendly, high-protein diet without spending hours on planning, and the meals come together in 15 minutes or less, giving you more time to do whatever you want around the house, get some chores done, hang out with the family, all of that stuff. Take advantage of this exclusive deal. You get 40% off your first box plus a free item in every box for life. Go to hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA and use the code LockedOnNBA. That's hungryroot.com/LockedOnNBA, code LockedOnNBA for 40% off and a lifetime free item. Today's show is also brought to you by Monarch Money. Monarch Money helps you track your finances all in one place. And we've all been there. We've all had our finances kind of get out of control. I certainly remember the days of just looking at my bank account and just where'd my money go? I've been spending my money on what? Now Monarch Money is kind of like a complete financial command center. So you can track everything and start building your wealth. When you start using Monarch Money, you realize just how much you're spending on things, all of these things with fees, food delivery, anything delivery. So cutting a lot of that down and realizing it, seeing it in front of your face helps you budget smarter and save more. And instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances and all of that stuff. You can even manage your money with your partner so you can track your shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page, eliminating all the stress. Super important. So take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use the code LockedOnNBA at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first order. That's monarchmoney.com, code LockedOnNBA for half off your first year. Thanks for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Go check out Locked On NBA Game Night. They got both games covered in the association, talking some Celtics, talking Minnesota, beating the Golden State Warriors. So it's a weird playoffs. It is a weird playoffs, and it's all covered on Locked On NBA Game Night. 7 days a week. I'm there on Fridays with Jake Madison, so go check that out. There was a game. They did play. It wasn't just Jayson Tatum, although by the end it felt like Tatum was the only story. But once again, the Celtics looked good early. They got out to a big early lead, and the flow of the game was Celtics made a run. The Knicks had a little bit of an answer, and then the Celtics answered the answer, right? Celtics go on a run. Knicks make their little run, smaller run, 7-8 to, Boston would go on like a 13-4, and then Knicks would cut it down to like 7 or 8, and Celtics make another run. And they kind of went back and forth on that. Third quarter, Celtics get up 14. Once again, looking good. Here come the Knicks, make another run. And then the Celtics looked like they started to get a little confused defensively. The communication wasn't there. They lost Jalen Brunson a lot, and Brunson, for the first time this series, truly got going for an extended period of time, not just the fourth quarter. Once Brunson got going and Mitchell Robinson was in the game and they got a ton of offensive rebounds, Celtics were getting crushed on the second chance points. That combination was too much, and the Celtics just couldn't overcome it. All of a sudden, everybody on the Knicks was making shots. Brunson was making everything. Bridges started making everything. Anunoby was hitting three-pointers. It got to the same. You got Karl Anthony Towns pitching in all of a sudden. Robinson keeping plays alive. the Celtics defense let them down in a big way. I had been touting all series long how the Celtics had been holding the Knicks to 90 something, 100 points, and they gave up 121 in this game. This is the defense, the Celtics defense at its worst. Anunoby had 20. Karl-Anthony Towns had 23. Mikal Bridges had 23. Those games, you weren't getting all of those things at the same time. And then you have Brunson going for 39 and 12 assists. That's a tough one. And because the Celtics lost game 1 and 2, this type of game, you lost your margin for error. I said this on yesterday's podcast. The margin for error went away. The Celtics were unable to withstand the weird game where everything was going in, and they Brunson went off and all these other guys went off. By botching games 1 and 2, you now put yourself in a position where this weird game where the Knicks just had everything going, now you're down 3-1. And this is the why in the playoffs you have to take care of business when it's there in front of you. It's why you have to, when you have that 20-point lead, you have to handle your business in the fourth quarter of game 1. You have to handle your business in the fourth quarter of game 2, because now your back's against the wall, and now you've suffered an injury, and you're already dealing with Jaylen Brown's knee not being his absolute best. And you're dealing with Kristaps Porzingis still not feeling his best. And so Tatum was there kind of carrying the team, and now he goes down, and here we are. Weirdness changes the entire complexion of the playoffs. You've got now the potential for the Cavs. They're down 3-1. Cavs could be bounced. You get Pacers Knicks in the conference finals. One of Pacers or Knicks are going to the NBA finals potentially if neither of the Cavs nor the Celtics can figure something out and come up with a kind of a miracle. But you have to handle your business when you have the opportunity. Games 1 and 2 were the missed opportunities. Game 3, a 14-point lead, still a good lead, but 9 minutes to go in the third quarter, up 14. Sure, there's a potential for that to that's not a stable lead at all. But the Celtics defensively, the way they lost Brunson was kind of bothersome, right? It was not great watching, confusion. Are you guys not the Boston Celtics? What's happening here? And a lot of this, I think, stemmed from starting with Kristaps Porzingis, who said he was feeling his, better, but clearly was not playing very well. He's been it's been disappointing. I'll put it that way. It's been disappointing for to watch Porzingis, to see him to literally disappear in game 1 because he just wasn't feeling well. And in game 2, same idea. Game 3, they didn't really need him, but he played well on defense. And game 4, they've needed him. They've needed him in these games. He's the key. He's the guy that unlocks so much against the Knicks. He's the guy that makes the switching impossible. The Celtics, I know I've said this a million times, but this is very, very similar to the 2023 playoffs where Brad Stevens said, you know what? We need somebody. We need that mismatch to go to. And Porzingis was going to be that guy. He should be that guy. He should have been that guy in this series. And he hasn't been there. Just hasn't. And the illness is an unfortunate thing. And some of it's not his fault. But, with Porzingis, it's just if it's not one thing, it's the other. If it's not the ankle, it's the knee. If it's not the knee, it's whatever. It's something. And now it's an illness. And as I've said before with Porzingis, it's never just an illness. It's never just a turned ankle. It's always the weirdest worst case scenario with these things. And it's just been difficult. It's been difficult. And having a healthy Porzingis in this series would have changed everything. Series might be over right now. I might be talking about getting ready for the Pacers if Porzingis was healthy. And Jaylen Brown, same thing. Jaylen did not play well in this game. I thought he tried to do too much early on in this game. I thought the Celtics were running decent offense, and then Jaylen was just running his own thing. It felt very separate. Jaylen felt very on a different page than the Celtics. And, I'll have to go back and look at it to double check just to make sure that I was seeing it right. But early in the game, especially, it very much felt like Jaylen was doing his own thing and the rest of the Celtics were moving the ball, and Derek White was the beneficiary. He had his first 4 3-pointers. Tatum was having an awesome game. Tatum's numbers in this game, if it wasn't for the injury, he was on his way to one of his all-time great. This still is one of his all-time great playoff games. 42 points on 57% shooting, 44 from 3, 3 of 3 from the line, so 100% at the line. He had 8 rebounds, 4 assists, 4 steals, and 2 blocks. He was everywhere, especially early on. It was a classic vintage Jayson Tatum stepping up kind of performance. But Jaylen was not good. I don't know what was going on with Jaylen, but just too much dribbling, losing the ball. We're back to the Warriors finals. We're back to trying to do too much and losing the ball. I thought that lesson had been learned. So the guy, look, I'll wrap up the conversation about the game and all of the guys, the unbelievably absent performances. But I'll finish on somewhat of an optimistic note, or not a pessimistic note, when it comes to Game 5. The Celtics can still win Game 5. I don't know beyond that, but they can still win Game 5. We'll talk about it next. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. FanDuel is here for you every moment of the playoffs, and I don't know, maybe you have an optimistic feeling about the Celtics. But look, there are highlight-worthy performances, there are major momentum shifts, there are can't-miss moments, and FanDuel makes it super easy to stay in the game before tip-off and live. You've got player props, performance trends, same-game parlays. Fans have more ways than ever to play smart and win big. So you could be, in the middle of a game and say, oh, I like this trend and I'm going to bet on, Mitchell Robinson's rebounds. You could have said that in, whatever. It's there for you in game. If you've got a read on who's heating up, you can back it up with a same game parlay. If you place your first $5 bet, if you're a new listener, a new FanDuel subscriber, you can get on there, place your first $5 bet, and if you win, you can get $200 in bonus bets. So make it an easy one. Make it the most easy bet that you can. Win it, and then you get $200 in bonus bets, and you can have fun with all this other stuff. So go check it out. Sign up at FanDuel.com. Place your first $5 bet. If it wins, you get $200 in bonus bets. Make sure you're using the tools that they have available to set your limit, set your budget. Only bet what you can afford to lose, and then if you have a bad streak, no problem. When you get paid again or whatever, you can come back and only bet what you can afford to lose. Have fun with it. No one wants you to go overboard. Make every moment more with FanDuel, official sports betting partner of the NBA. Thank you for making Locked On Celtics your first listen every day. Thank you for being an everydayer Monday through Friday with me. I appreciate it. If you're so inclined, I would suggest go checking out Locked On Knicks. Maybe you don't want to listen to them right now. Or if you're inclined, you want to listen to one of the Locked Ons from the other playoff series, go check them out. It's a great way to stay up to date on everything that's happening. All right, let's get back to this game. Just quickly going through, like I said, Porzingis was this is the worst series for him to be a negative. Talked about Jaylen Brown. Jrue Holiday did nothing, which is, the Celtics are built around their depth, right? You need Holiday, Brown, Porzingis. You can get production from all of these guys. But when you don't get production from three of them, that's a problem. They got decent production from Peyton Pritchard. Al Horford didn't really do much, but you never really look at Al Horford and say, I'm counting on him for scoring. He'll have his scoring nights, and when he has a big scoring night, then great, that's a bonus. But to get nothing from Holiday, Brown, Porzingis, especially when it comes to defensively, that's a group that should be stopping what the Knicks were trying to do, and the Knicks just could not be stopped, and that's the most frustrating thing. The fact that the Knicks could not be stopped is tough. It's tough to watch. Listen, this is the matchup that I wanted. I think this is the matchup that the Celtics wanted. This was supposed to be a matchup that the Celtics handled easily. No one expected the Celtics to have a tough time here. No one expected them to be down 3-1. Not even Knicks fans. Even optimistic Knicks fans were like, nah, we're getting smoked. But here you are. You gotta step up, and no one has in those 3 games outside of Tatum and Derek White in this game. So game 5 is Wednesday night, 7:00 in Boston. Look, call me crazy. I'm not saying the Celtics are going to win, but the Celtics could win. The Celtics can win. It's not like Tatum is the only offensive player. This isn't just a heliocentric Jayson Tatum team, even though in the playoffs he's had to be more of that. The Celtics are a very good, deep team. Starting the game with Jalen, Derek, Jrue, Horford, and then I don't know what they're going to do. Will they start Porzingis? Will they go double big? Or what, do they go with Pritchard? I don't know how they're going to handle it, but they do have enough guys to win a game. Like right now, it's you're not even thinking about, oh my God, they have to win 3 games. No, they have to win 1 game on Wednesday. That's it. They have to win Wednesday. And then you worry about everything else after that. If they lose Wednesday, it's over. So all they have to do is win Wednesday. And then after Wednesday, you look at what happened and you say, okay, now we have to win on, Friday? That they would be the next game. So game 6 would be, okay, all we have to do is win game 6. You don't worry about game 7 because there's no game 7 unless you win game 6. So right now, the Celtics, even though nothing would indicate that they would win that game, we've seen Jalen play well without Jayson. We've seen him be a distributor. We've seen the Celtics, if they can get hot from 3, then they can beat anybody. We've seen them all season long play well, being down one guy here or there. Now, this is the worst guy to be without, but it's not like the Celtics are facing, the Warriors, Steph Clay, Kevin Durant Warriors. This is still the Knicks. And, to their credit, they've come out and played, great. And they have a 3-1 series lead. Like that's, I'm not taking anything away from them. Knicks fans are going to be in the comment section. There's nothing I can say. You just sit here and take it. And, they're going to laugh at me. And I say, if, I'm wrong, I'm wrong. And sometimes you're going to be wrong about this stuff. And that's it. But they have enough. They have enough to beat the Knicks in game 5. They do. But it's going to take kind of like a perfect game. It's going to take Jalen playing his absolute best. Whatever is going on, he's got to figure it out. It's going to take Porzingis playing his absolute best. Whatever he's got going on, he's got to figure it out. Guys have to make shots. Guys have to play their best. Have to play some defense and force a game 6. That's all they can do. They have the horses to do it. But can they? Can they? Yes, they can. Will they? I don't know. There's a lot of people who are going to think like, hey, if you're going to lose the series, just do it. Right? And this is very much the beat writer. Like if you're going to lose the series, like if you fast forward and you be like, oh yeah, I looked into the future, the Celtics lose this series, then just lose it. Just lose it so we don't have to go traveling back and forth. Just be done with it. I think Celtics fans at this point are just whatever's going to happen this offseason is going to happen. Just whatever. But the competitor says, look, man, you're going to have to kill me to stop me. And so Celtics should not be going out like with that other thought process. The Celtics should be in there thinking, what do we do to win game 5? That's it. The only thing they should be thinking of. It's a cruel world out there. This is very much Animal Kingdom type of stuff. Jayson went down. If he's out for an extended period of time, if he's out for the season, whatever, he's out. Like he's done. He's gone. You can't think about it. You can't cry about it. You just, because there are still games. All you can do is win game 5 now, right? And you just be like, sorry, Jayson Tatum no longer exists in terms of what are we doing on the floor. And you have to get into your mind for game 5, forget like whatever. You can't be dwelling on that. All you can think about is what's in front of you. Maybe you put a little bit of a run together, shock people. This is very much now Boston against the world, shock the world type of stuff. So we'll see. We'll see if they can step up and do something. The full squad hasn't been able to do it. Maybe if you take a guy away, they can focus up and get something done. I'll be here every step of the way. If the season ends, I will still be here. We'll do our post-season stuff. We'll start to look at the next moves and all that. But for right now, we're still talking about basketball. So hopefully you will stick around for that. I do appreciate you doing so. Thank you so much. If you are a regular listener, thank you. If you're not, you should be subscribed wherever you get your podcast. Watch the show on YouTube. Get into those comment sections. And then I would love it if you shared the podcast and told everybody they should be listening to and watching the Locked On Celtics podcast here on the Locked On Podcast Network. It's your team every day.